He's a San Jose councilman, and he just donated bone marrow to save a little boy's life. Javier Campos is with me here on Comunidad del Valle, along with Francis Lee, who is with Be the Match. Welcome to the show. First of all, how does it feel to know that you potentially saved someone's life?
It is one of the most rewarding feelings in my life, and I would do it again.
Very well.
Yes,
well,
yes.
That's awesome. I've been waiting. Francis, I've signed up about 15 years ago, and I'm waiting. Talk about the sign-ups to become bone marrow donors, and I mean, are we at par? Are we lagging behind? What do we need to do?
Yeah, so the process to join the Be the Match Bone Marrow Donor Registry is actually very simple. You would need to complete a health history form and actually provide a swab of cheek cells. It's very simple. And then we use your cheek cells and test them for specific markers to determine if you match a patient who's in need of a transplant.
And once you're on the registry, you're on the registry forever?
You're on the registry until your 61st birthday.
Oh, got it. Talk about what the councilman did and how maybe rewarding that is for the person on the other side. You haven't met the recipient.
No.
Talk about that process, if you will.
Yeah, so the donation process, actually, we keep it anonymous throughout the process. After a year or two, depending on where the patient is from, whether they're here in the US or international, there is the possibility of actually getting to communicate with each other, so they actually get to meet. But the process that the council member donated was the peripheral blood stem cell donation process, which is actually now the donation process 75% of the time. It is a process similar to donating plasma or platelets. The only difference is you'll receive a medication which will increase the cell activity in your blood. So some people do get a reaction to that medication, usually a headache. But when most people are off the medication, they're able to go right back to work the next day.
Well, he's used to a lot of headaches and a lot of work that he does. But I mean, when you got the call, it must have been surprising and rewarding at the same time.
It was surprising and rewarding. As a matter of fact, I've gotten called twice. About 4 or 5 years ago, I got a call. I wasn't as good a match, and so they had a better match, and I thought that was okay, once in a lifetime, and I thought I'd never hear from them again. And then last August, I got a call again, and they told me that I was a very, very good match if I was still interested in donating, and they told me they didn't have a backup. I was it.
Wow.
And I said, absolutely, I would do this.
Are you anxious to meet the recipient?
I am.
What do you know about the recipient?
I do know that he's a 5-year-old little boy. Wow. He has a form of leukemia. And I was told by the Be the Match folks that they would be giving me an update soon on how he's doing.
Are you, I mean, you got to be curious to see how he's doing and what it's been like for the child.
I'm very curious to see how he's doing. I do know that it is a Latino child because the match is higher, the likelihood of a match is higher.
Well, talk about that, if you will, because there is a great need to have more Latino bone marrow donors or on the registry, if you will, and you took a big step in that. Yes,
I think that it's very important for Latinos to get checked, to join the registry, because there's a lot of folks out there that it takes longer for them to find the match. And with cancer, you can't wait. You have to get treatment as soon as you can.
Boy, isn't that true? So it takes nothing more than a cheek swab and filling out a form. They'll be able to do that at an event coming up here in San Jose.
Yeah, on April 5th, San Jose is hosting our annual Be the Match Walk Run at Guadalupe Gardens Park. It's a fundraising event to raise funds to help more patients afford transplant, to get more people registered on the Marrow Donor Registry, and as well as fund some of the life-saving research that we support. So we'll also have an opportunity at the Walk Run event to register if you're interested in being on the Marrow Donor Registry as well.
What was the worst part of it, if you will, Javier, which I'm sure was overshadowed by the rewarding feeling that what you've just done?
So before you go in for the actual donation, there's a 5-day period where I was getting injections every morning of this medication, and progressively as I got the injections, as more stem cells were being pushed into the bloodstream, the aches in the joints The sternum area, the hip area is where you produce most of your stem cells, from what I was told. There was some discomfort, but again, it was well worth the 5 days of discomfort, to be able to hopefully save someone's life.
And how are you today?
Oh, I'm perfect. I'm fine. Completely over the side effects.
We think of firefighters, we think of police officers, we think of our men and women overseas who are saving lives left and right. Do you ever think of yourself being in that category?
I haven't. I just think that that's what we're supposed to do. As human beings, we should do everything that we can to try to make someone else's life better. And if we can, be in a position to save someone's life, then we should be doing that.
All right, and we do need more Latinos on that registry, as we mentioned. Here is the information for that walk and run, or whatever you want to do. Just come on out there and donate, if you will, for the Be the Match campaign. Thank you all so much for what you're doing. And before we leave, just a disclaimer, Javier Campos is a candidate for re-election in the San Jose City Council. That's our disclaimer, and we've invited the other candidates to come on and talk about maybe an issue important to them. One has already agreed. We're waiting on the third individual to see if they'll be willing to come on the show and talk about something that's important to them as well. Any final thoughts before we let you go, Francis?
No, I just want to thank the council member for his generous to stepping up to save a life, and everybody out there has the opportunity to potentially be a donor and to be that lifesaver. So I hope you'll take that opportunity with us.
All right, about 20 seconds.
I just want to encourage anyone and everyone to join the registry. It's very important, and it's one of the more rewarding things that you could ever do.
All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
All right. Then, Francis, thank you for
so much, Damien.
keeping that fire lit. And now here's what's happening in your comunidad. On Que Pasa.